You guys are psychos! You've seen one too many TV shows!
No! Watching television shows doesn't create psycho killers. Canceling TV shows does. The Wayans Brothers was a good show, man. It was a good ass show, and we didn't even get a final.
What's up, guys? I'm gonna do a quick thoughts and predictions on Terrifier 4. Me and my buddy Clint, we discussed about this a lot, but I just wanted to gather my thoughts and my predictions from all the evidence I've gathered and just by seeing the movies a few times. So how I think this part 4 is going to play off is we're going to get a direct continuation right into it. I don't think we're going to skip time. I don't think we're going to do any of that. It's kind of going to be like how part 2 and part 3 have. It's kind of been a little bit direct sequels, like continuations. So I think in part 4, considering the severity of the situation that the little girl is stuck in hell, we're gonna just continue the story where we left off, because the little girl is stuck in hell. So Sienna has no time to waste. We're not gonna skip till Halloween. We're not gonna skip till Easter. We're not gonna skip till Christmas. I know a lot of people want that, but I don't think we're gonna get that. I think it's just gonna be a direct continuation, like from the aftermath, and then maybe they skip forward. That's a possibility, but we're going to continue where we left off because we can't leave the little girl in hell. So, and a nice Easter egg, which it could be an Easter egg, or it could actually play a part of the story in part 4. At the end of part 3, a woman is reading the Knife Circle book, and that's actually referenced in All Hallows Eve, which is a short film, which is an anthology film with a short film that had Art the Clown in it, and the Knife Circle was included in it. So it could be a nod to his short film, or it could be play a part into the bigger picture about Sienna going through the stages of hell to save the kid, or to finally defeat Art, and or defeat whatever demonic powers, is possessing him. I was thinking maybe she's going to find this book and she's going to read it and she's going to seek guidance from it. Maybe look at the author for advice. I think that's another possibility as well. And I have notes here, sorry. And another big question here, is Jonathan dead? Now, me personally, I honestly don't think he is dead. There's a lot of interviews out there. And in one specific one, Damien kind of hinted the possibility of him actually being alive. Now, another thing which I don't really think he would be killed off is, one, why kill off an important character off screen? And I know Damien's like, I love this guy, I don't want to see him die in the film. I think that's BS, because considering the style of movies that we get from him, I don't think it matters how big of an important character they are. So I think that honestly that's not true. And if it was, maybe we're gonna see a kill scene of Jonathan, how he got killed in part 4. But honestly, I doubt it. I really don't think we're gonna get that. I think Jonathan is still alive, because he is a big character, an important one, and I believe he's gonna help Sienna in part 4, because there's just so much that to the story that Jonathan is so important to be killed off. Like, he's just as important as Sienna is. Hold on a second, let me continue the notes. Give me 1 second. Oh, and another piece of evidence too here, because people could say, oh, like the skull and this and this and this. So look, if you look at the end of part 3, Victoria is consistently telling Sienna, like give up, like let go, to take over her body. And she's doing so many things to let her guard down, to make her feel like stressed and like giving up. So she tells her about Jonathan. She finally shows the skull, but like, I don't think that's really his skull. One, I believe it could be anybody's, especially probably the guy in the attic. It could be somebody else's skull. Because you got to remember what they were trying to do. They were trying to trick her to give up. So I truly don't think they killed Jonathan off. It makes no sense whatsoever. That's just my opinion. And I know that other people strongly believe that he is dead. But that's okay. We're not really going to know until part 4. But this is just my thoughts and my theory and my opinion on what happened. And I might be wrong, but we'll see. So, sorry, I'm just reading my notes, guys. Hold on a second. Okay, okay, let's see here. Okay, what would I like to see in this movie is I want more of a story. Well, actually, hold on, let me say that for later. What I think this movie is going to be about is also to because if you look at the Damien Leone's interview of Chris Jericho, he kind of speaks out on wanting to do something different and out of the box. And so I don't think we're going to get the campy killing, type of movie anymore. I think we're going to go far on the deep end, just like he mentioned in his interview recently of Chris Jericho. If you guys haven't already, go check it out. But he makes like a reference saying he wants to do something different, try something new. And what I've been telling my buddy is I feel like since this theme is going to be going into hell, ninth circle, different stages of hell, we get references of the nightmare scene and the hell portals. I feel like we're actually going to see a vision. We're going to see Damien's version of kind of like a Hellraiser type of world, which would be so dope. Seeing Sienna killing demons and all that, I think that would be pretty sick. So I believe the direction that part 4 is going to take is we're going to actually be in hell with Sienna. Because like I said, she has to save the little kid. So I believe it's going to be that type of setting. But yeah. And I think a glimpse of it was that nightmare scene where she was, like they were making her armor or something like that. And there was like a demon on a leash. If those are the creatures that are going to be in the movie, ooh, dude, that's going to be cool, man. I'm going to love it, and I'm excited, can't wait to see that. Hopefully that's the way it's going to go to, but we shall see. Let's see here. Okay, now, what would I like that to Terrifier 4 to have? So I want more story emphasis and less worrying about how many kills can we get in the movie. And don't get me wrong, I love it, but I also want to primarily focus on the story. Why? Especially on this movie, it's more important now since this is the last movie. Unless he surprises us, he makes another one, but I doubt it. So, do we want to go that direction? I don't think we should. I think we should focus strictly on story, because part 1 wasn't about story. At the end, it was a little bit. Part 2, yes. Part 3, yeah, a little bit mixed. Part 4 needs, since we're wrapping things up, we need answers. We need to focus more on story. Obviously, we want to see kills, but don't overdo it, because we don't want to overdo the runtime. I'm not saying that I felt the runtimes for both movies, because I didn't. I didn't even think about the runtime. But for the masses, because I know that those were complaints for some people. Let's see what else. I want the same soundtrack as part 2. I loved that we had like some synth music to it. It was so good, especially with Sienna's I think it was like her setup video at the beginning. I really love that. I hope we get another one of her maybe dressing up and actually fighting demons. That'd be pretty sick. And I want all the questions answered that we've been having. Like, I want to know more about the dad. I want to know about the drawings in the book, of the sketchbook. I want to know if those people are going to show up, or there's lore more behind them. There's a lot of things like that haven't been answered. So my favorite kill scene was the attic scene. for overall franchise or the trilogy, mine was the attic scene. I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, the craziest one is probably the for part 3, the bedroom, or part 2, the part 2, the bedroom, or part 3, the shower, and part 1, the hacksaw. But for me personally, underrated, I think it's the attic scene. I really think that part was like insanely, that caught me off guard. And I think that was a very underrated kill from the trilogy. The way I would rank these movies is part 2. Part 2 is my favorite. Now, part 3 was up there, but it's not as good as part 2 in my opinion. And then, so it's part 2, part 3, and then part 1. I'm not including All Hallows Eve in it. Now, also another thing, a very important thing that I hope Damien, which if you watch Chris Jericho interview, it kind of like puts me at ease a little bit more, because I love his co-worker, the guy who helped him fund Terrifier 1 and I think his short film. Because Damien kind of wants to like push it, but like by budget wise, just because they made more money. But what I've been telling my buddy, I'm like, no, like what's magical about these movies that he's making, they're all on a short budget. They're not so big. And it goes back to the saying that says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you know your movie's making a lot of success, don't overdo the budget. Use what you truly need. That's how I would do it. And the old man, I don't know his name. I don't know if you guys remember his name, but his helper, he kind of basically hints at that, what I'm basically saying. He's kind of like basically telling Damien like, hey, you know, like to really back in a little bit. Because yes, as much as it'll be cool to have a bigger budget, it's more important to use what you need and be, you know, like, don't overdo it. Because what if your movie doesn't make it? What if your movie doesn't come out as good as it was before? Like, you can't trust that. So in my personal opinion, stick to a lower budget and let your movie work on its own. And maybe in the future you can make a different movie, but personally, stick to a low budget, practical effect, continue the practical effects, but just don't overdo it. And that's what I'm glad Damien has that guy out with him, because you could tell he's like very grounded. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. So those were basically all the notes that I have. That's what I believe Terrifier 4 will be about. Basically Sienna figuring out a way to get into hell, saving the little kid, you know, finally having all the questions answered, and figuring out who truly Art is. For those of you who know, Art was actually a regular human at part 1 until he was killed at the end of part 1. Then he woke up, he felt the gunshot, and he's like, hey, I should be dead. So he was a human, but now since this whole like demonic stuff happened, he's technically not anymore. And I want to know also, I have questions myself. Like, I want to know, like, why is it that he could take body parts, like the Jeepers Creepers, he could take a body part and then heal himself and stuff. I want to know why that is. You know, and so that's just my theory. Like I said, I might be wrong, but this is just from what I gathered, because I dove deep. I've talked deep with my buddy, but I've dove deep. I've researched. I've watched the movie several times and stuff like this. So this is truly what I think, you know, is, you know, what it will be, but I might be wrong then again. But if you guys agree with me, let me know in the comments below. I just want to make a video about this because I just want to talk about it. But yeah, if you guys agree with me or not, just let me know in the comments below what you guys' opinion is, what your favorite movie from Terrifier is, kill scene, what would you like to see, what you don't like, stuff like that. So yeah, all right, man, I'll see you guys later. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.